presenting your host for the RaceCoin Podcast, Jay.
Hey guys, I'm so pumped to have Marvin on the show today, aka Starvin Marvin. He's driven on various championships like Le Mans. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Really a pleasure to be here with you.
Yes. So let's kick it off with the most important thing that what everyone's thinking about, what is on everyone's mind right now. Your favorite food is pasta. What is that about?
Yeah, I mean, for most of people, it's just pizza or Burger King or so. And as a race driver, you need to be quickly done with food and all the stuff. And I'm living alone. So when I'm at home, I'm most likely too lazy to do a big lunch or a big dinner.
Yeah.
So
where is the best pasta in the world? So, as I'm sure you've traveled all over the place, what is the best pasta you've ever had?
Italian, obviously.
Fair enough.
The pizza and the pasta are good there, but
cool. All right. So in 2017, right, was a great year for you. You came second place in the World Endurance Championships. How was that for you? What was it like?
Yes, for me it was an incredible year. It was fantastic moments. I was not expecting to drive there. I won a shootout, and then I got the call and the confirmation that I'm going to be participating in WEC in the World Championship. Endurance racing with a Porsche 911 RSR was incredible for me. And then, driving in Le Mans as well, traveling the whole world in just 1 year. It was so nice. We got a couple of wins. We got in the end vice world champion. And my teammate was also quite young. We were one of the youngest teams in the whole grid, and we managed to perform really good. So I have good memories to this, and by far it was the best year for me now.
That's awesome. So you've been going at this since a very young age. You've said about 16 years now, right? So who inspired you when you were a kid, and what kind of got you into this? And who did you look up to when you were a kid as well?
I mean, my idols changed a lot the past years, but it started quite funny because nowhere in my family there's any parents or like family member that ever raced before. So because my dad has a company, car track, and we've been there. We talked to the owner and he said, let's go into it. I've been at the age of 5 to 6 years. Normally you're not allowed to drive there, but we know the owner, and he let me drive then, and somehow it just started a passion for it. I wanted to go every weekend there. Then we went to some races. I won the races, and I got German champions titles, I think 3 times in a row. Then I went to international races, and then suddenly I've jumped into a race car with the age of 14. So and then things gone on. I won more races, and now I'm where I'm at. Yes.
It's been quite a journey, of course. And, you said your idols have changed over the years. I find that quite different. So how comes? What did you meet your idols? And, they say that don't ever meet your idols because, it's not cool. So has that been the experience for you? Or is it something that you've just kind of got to know some of your idols maybe and, met them and felt like, you connected with someone else?
Yes, I mean they're changing a lot because when you're young, you're obviously looking at the highest class of racing, and that's Formula One, and your idols are somewhere from there. Mm-hmm. But as memories goes on and things happen to you, like crashes and examples, you change it. And for me now, it's Alex Zanardi. It's one of my biggest idols. I met him as well in the year 2012 at the season-ending gala when I won the Formula BMW Talent Cup. I mean, he lost both of his legs while racing, doing his passion, and he still cannot stop. I mean, you lose two legs in motorsport, and you cannot stop. And then he went to the Paralympics and all the other sport championships, and he achieved a lot of big things there as well. And that shows how much passion he had for the sport, and he never want to stop, even though he lost both of his legs. And this,
it really is a testament to his character.
So that shows the passion he has for, and that's what I want to have as well. No matter what happens to me, I will never stop racing, and I will go on till I'm too old to
to get into a car anymore. So I mean, it's a testament to his character, and I'm sure, it plays on a lot of people's minds as they drive that, what will just one mistake or one crash do to my career or, my future. So what kind of role does fear play, not only while you're driving, but as a mentality or as something that you have to kind of bear as a burden naturally as competing in a sport that is, likely to result in career-ending crashes?
Yeah, I think also beside racing, my biggest fear is about not staying healthy. I mean, staying healthy in life is the most important part and the most important thing for me. So this is what I really care about. But in racing, I think it's the wrong job, the wrong thing you do if you have any fear driving the cars. I mean, I grew up with it. I know what I'm doing and I trust myself. And actually what's really weird about it is I trusted the car even more after I had the first two crashes. I killed two cars completely. And after those two crashes, when most of the people get slower because they get scared, I got even quicker because I saw no matter what I do, I crashed with nearly 200 kilometers per hour. And I jumped out and they had nothing, not even broken ribs, nothing at all. And that showed me how safe I am. That gave me the confidence in driving quicker and quicker and quicker.
Yeah.
And I rip off all my fears while driving. So just beside that, I want to stay healthy. And then I think I have no fears in driving.
That's cool. I mean, it's interesting that you have a kind of mentality where now that I am safe from a crash, I can go a bit faster. It's quite counterintuitive almost. But the entire career that you have ahead of you is quite far, right? So as a driver yourself, what kind of milestones do you set for yourself? Do you have like a 6-month goal, a 1-month goal, a 10-year goal? Like, what are you setting yourself up for?
I mean, it's quite difficult. When I look back already 2 years, my biggest dream was to participate one day in Le Mans, and just 6 months later, I drove there.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it at
So
all.
basically, what you're trying to say is you're finishing them off too quickly, and you need to calm them down and actually slow down.
No, I'm not finishing them off quickly, but I started with like the highest probably endurance race you can start with.
Yeah.
That's all you can end your career with, and that's what I started with. And I mean, overall, it's difficult in motorsport. Motorsport is like, compared to all other sports, you cannot plan so far ahead. It can be over every day. From tomorrow on, I can have no cockpit anymore, and then I'm not driving. So it's really difficult in motorsport to plan ahead for 1, 2, 3 years. When you really got to a point where you got the factory contract, you've been a works driver for a company, then you're fine. You can plan for 1, 2 years, but that's like the maximum. And that's also quite a huge pressure on your mind. You have a lot of pressure in mental fitness, and you have to take care of it. And when I started racing, I knew myself every time at the end of every season, I knew it can be over next season. And as a young driver going up the ladder, it's like the biggest fear you can have, because every mistake can be the last mistake you ever did. And when you get used to the pressure and you withstand it, and then you can carry on. But that was quite a major step in my life to get over this bad memories I have there.
So how do you deal with that pressure? What do you do to handle that and take it on and, be comfortable in a situation where it might be the last season?
Yeah, I think in motorsport overall, the most important thing is to be fit in your head. And as I said, for most people, if they have a crash, they look bad at it. They think about it, what happened? I've been too quick, then I lost the car, then I crashed. But if you think the other way, you want to force the limit, and you have to go sometimes over the limit. And even though you throw away the car into the barrier and you crash it totally, you jump out most of the time like completely fine. So why you always see the negative points? There are already also a lot of positive points, and I've been to the Mclaren MTC for 1 year in Woking in England, and they changed us a lot of things, or they told us a lot of things about our brains and how it works and how we have to get rid of our fears, and to look at a different angle at life, to understand that we have to look positive, think positive. Also, in all the worst thing that can happen, find the positive things and go on. You cannot change the past. And it took me 1-2 years to understand what's going on, because back then I was just 13, 14 years old, and I couldn't really understand what they mean to me because I had no clue what life's all about. I still don't, but it helped me to see some issues I did, some problems I did differently, and then it just carried on. And yes, it helped me quite a lot to
So what would you say to someone if you saw yourself like 10 years ago, or there might be someone else who's, 13, 14 years old who might be seeing this and thinking, you know what, like, I want to be this guy. I want to be Marvin. What would you say to that person? How would you try and inspire them, or say, look, this is my advice and this is what I didn't do. And if I just listen to my version of myself now, back then maybe I could have done better or been somewhere else that I, somewhere quicker, maybe, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think you hear it as a young kid all the time, and it's never give up. But what does it mean? I mean, when one door closes, another door will open up, and I could never understand what it means. But I had a lot of situations where I've been to a shootout and I finished second. I've been, I've been so close to winning it, and my life could have been so easy from then on, but it did not work. I finished second, and that's it. And then I was so disappointed, couldn't get back to life, because this killed me from the inside. But then at a certain point I understood, hey, this door is closed now, so why not go ahead? There are like a million other doors I can take. And I could not see them at first, but it just opened up, and somehow I was in the next step, in the next championship, in the next car, was the next team, in the next professional championship. So as I said before, when you think too negatively about small issues that happen, small throwbacks you had, just go ahead. A lot of positive will follow, and it will help you to carry on in your life. So for all the young people out there, I know how bad it looks at a certain point, but just go ahead, and it will change in your favor. So never give up and never lose your focus.
It's interesting that you have this mentality, because it is definitely very positive. But often what people find is that there is this theory that you've just said, right? The knowledge, and then there's the action of actually feeling like that, or executing that, or doing that. And there's always a knowledge action gap. There's a difference between knowing it and then doing it. And obviously there's that period which you need in order to switch, right? For some people it might be instantaneous, it might be a second, and for some others it might be months. So how do you minimize that knowledge action gap? What do you do to try and actually get there a little bit quicker to actually executing, or feeling like, you know what, although I know that it's going to get better, right, I can get better now?
What I also got told really early, and it helped me a lot, is like, most people also in life, not even in work or motorsport or whatever sport they're doing, is you normally have to self-analyze yourself and recognize that something is wrong. Then when you recognize this, you already did one job really good. You recognize something is wrong, so you want to change anything. So most of the people say, okay, I want to change anything, but they never think about a way. So they only notice that there's something wrong. They know where they want to go, but they never think about the way, how they want to go there. And it's really thinking about what I want to do. I want to train harder. I want to be better. I want to focus on this and this and this. How do I want to achieve my goals? And as soon as you know this, for your brain, it's so much easier to go there, because you have a path. You have a path you want to follow. And it's not like being somewhere uncomfortable in your brain because you have no path in front of your eyes. So this is,
I think that's a real talk, and I think it's cool that you're actually describing it in a way that is relatable. You're putting some real kind of essence of what you've actually been through in that as well. So thank you for that. In terms of the traits that it really takes to stand on that podium, there is people who try, and there are people who try and really overcome their own obstacles, and they can do everything right. You can be in the right places, you could be trying, you could be being positive, you could do it all. But what do you think separates the hundreds, if not thousands, of people that are trying to be on that podium, right? And really actually standing there and being able to almost bask in the glory of being on the podium and being number one?
Yeah, I mean, as I said just now, you have to recognize there's something wrong, maybe you're not comfortable with, and you want to change it, and then you have to think about a way to change this. But also, I've heard about a story from my old trainer. He was working with Usain Bolt before, and before his first world title, he was really afraid that he's not winning it. And then he went to his trainer and my starts are not good. I want to practice the starts. And the trainer said no. And yeah, why not? But they're yeah, I'm the worst at starting the races, so I want to train it. And then she said no. You're the quickest at the end of the straight, so you focus on your super strength, on your strength, to make it a super strength. And that's what I all focus for. And what I'm trying to say is here, it's not that you need to be best in everything. It also might be enough if you're getting like the super best in what you already can do. And it's a little bit difficult to explain, but I think you
No,
get what.
I think you honed it in perfectly. Yeah, I mean, it's very true
So
that you don't need to be perfect at all aspects of life. It's just something that is yours that you can focus on, that you can be the best at, is what you try and exceed at and excel at and try and do better.
some people are better at sprinting, some people are better at starts. So don't try to be the best in everything. Try to be the best in what you can already do best, and try to get even better in this. And motorsport has so many aspects. It's like consistence, it's the mental strength, it's the physical strength. And I know I'm not the best in physical strength, but I know I'm really good in my mind and I'm really good in my head, and this already gives me an advantage. And when I'm going to a racetrack and I already have the self-confidence to go into the race, my mind is already set to race really good. I'm not worried. I have the confidence in it. And this helps me to go on, even though I know I'm not, the best in physical strength, but I have other super strengths I can work with, and that will help me to go on. So actually, guys, as our conversation took on, I recognized one major thing I want to share with you as well. That was that key point that changed my whole life. And it was in the years when I was in the Mclaren Technology Center in England. I was 13, 14 years back then, and the professor came in the room, and he didn't even say his name. He just went in and said, yeah, you cannot control your brain. And we were sitting there like 10 students and said, yeah, when I want to raise my hand, I can raise my hand. If I want to speak, I can speak. So what is this guy talking about? And then he said, okay, I see in your eyes, you won't believe me. So here's some little test. So you will see yourself. So we just said it's quietly. He said, okay, please close your eyes. And then you do nothing else but breathing in, breathing out. Imagine the air filling your lungs, breathing out and all this, but do nothing else. And you said, yeah, no problem for that. 1 minute straight, we can do this. We closed our eyes, and it took, I think, 2 or 3 seconds, and the first door closed, and immediately your thoughts went to the door. And why did the door close? Did somebody go out? Did somebody go in? Then you started, am I the only idiot closing my eyes now? Is this something like a troll, or what is he doing right now? Then you thought about pasta in the evening and pizza the next day and the next holidays. And then you, at a certain point, you recognize, wait a second. All I wanted to do was focusing my breath. And I'm thinking about 20 other things right now. And this is not working. So probably I cannot control my brain. And in motorsport, when you're traveling with like 300 kilometers per hour, it's 100 meters a second. And when you think about pasta in the evening and your girlfriend and what else, just for 1 second in the car, you surpass the breaking point like 100 meters maybe, or 200 meters. And this could finish the race, could finish the season, could finish or hurt you bad. So this back then really changed my perspective of life. I really started to question everything, question myself. Do I really want to do this right now? Or is it my brain telling me this? And maybe I explained it well enough so everybody of you out there understand it. You can do the test by your own. Sit still, put your hands on the table, try to only focus on your breathing and look what your brain is doing. And maybe it helps you to recognize further on that your brain is
Not under your control. Yeah, I mean, one interesting question that I recently got asked as well was, do you even know when your thought, the current thought that you're having subsides and the new one starts?
For me, I'm looking at myself as a sailing yacht, and it might sound strange, but that's what I'm looking at myself right now. Because when you look at yourself and you imagine yourself with a 50-meter pole to your head, like a really long rope or anything, stiff, straight up, and then when you want to focus on anything, your line has to be straight. You want to keep forward. You want to have the focus and your eyes, and everything must be straight upwards. And as soon as your thoughts go away, for me, I imagine like the pole is falling to one side. And that helps me to immediately, hey, it's falling to the left or right, and I want to put it straight back. And when I imagine it putting it straight back, I immediately get the focus straight to carry on what I actually wanted to do. And it took me a little bit, but when you put it with a picture in your mind, and the picture of a sailing boat helped me to imagine the sailing post, the 50-meter post, bending, moving to the left and right, and this picture helped me to get myself back into focus every time.
So now that you've given your top secret away, you're going to have so much more competition on the track. So,
yeah, so
I don't know if you should have shared that, but I'm sure the fans will love it. And no, it's great. It's great.
It helped them as well. It helped me a lot. It went on already for 6-7 years, and I optimized it myself in my private life and what I'm doing all day long. And I'm so glad I was an opportunity back then to get all this knowledge from this professor. I sadly forgot his name, but maybe he sees this and he remembers my name and we get in touch again. But it was a really nice meeting, and I can definitely thank him for the rest of my life that he changed everything.
Thank you for that, Marvin. I really appreciate it's almost turned into a motivational speech, but I love it really. And I'm sure the fans will too. And thank you for being on the RaceCoin podcast. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.